So now we're going to talk about functions. So functions are basically a series of statements that are grouped together that have a function name. And whenever you call the function, you can run the series of statements that are within that function. So this is really helpful when you have large amounts of code that you need to run multiple times. Another useful feature is each function can have parameters. And parameters are basically just variables that you can use to pass numbers into the functions with. Another, just for vocab, arguments are the values of parameters. So we'll talk about that in just a second, but first, so to declare a function in JavaScript, what you're gonna do is you're gonna write out function, then the name of the function, then parentheses. You don't need to have any parameters, but if you do, you can put them here and separate them each by commas. So in this example, the function add numbers has two parameters, x and y, and the actual function itself, in terms of what it actually can do, is it will print out the numbers x plus y. Then in order to call this function add numbers, you just write the name of the function and you use the same parentheses and you put whatever numbers in that you want to pass on to the function. So in this example, we're going to have the numbers 1 and 2 be passed in. So the function add numbers is going to read x as 1, and it's going to read y as 2. So it's going to do the function within add numbers is going to print x plus y. So it's going to print 1 plus 2, and that's going to output 3. One other important thing to note here is the difference between global variables and local variables. So local variables are variables that you use within a function, but they can't be used outside the function. Global variables are something that you declare outside of a function and can be used anywhere within your code. So we'll talk a little bit more about this later on, but this is just something that's important and pretty easy to screw up. And whenever you're having errors, this is often the cause for some of your errors. So when you're debugging, make sure to pay attention to whether or not you're declaring the variable within a function or outside of a function and how you're using it, because there's a big difference between local and global variables, and that can cause some problems. So with that, we'll move on to the next slide.